March 8, 2014. A Boeing 777 carrying 239 people takes off into the night. The flight is routine, the weather is clear, nothing seems wrong. Then, less than an hour later, it vanishes. No distress call. No explosion detected. No wreckage. But what investigators discovered next made the mystery even darker. The plane kept flying for 7 more hours. This is the terrifying mystery of MH370. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 departed Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m., headed for Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members. Families were asleep. Most passengers expected to wake up in China. In the cockpit were experienced pilots, including Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Everything about the flight looked normal. At 1:19 a.m., the cockpit sent what would become one of aviation's most haunting final messages. Good night. Malaysian 370. Minutes later, the aircraft's transponder disappeared from civilian radar. It was as if the plane had simply been erased. The plane kept flying for 7 more hours. This is the terrifying mystery of MH370. At first, investigators feared a catastrophic failure, but military radar soon revealed something chilling. MH370 had not fallen from the sky. It had turned around. In a sharp and deliberate maneuver, the aircraft banked west, crossed back over Malaysia, and flew toward the Andaman Sea. This was no random drift. The turn was precise, controlled, intentional. Whoever changed that course knew exactly what they were doing. And then the plane vanished again. This time from military radar too. For days, the world believed MH370 disappeared shortly after losing radar contact. But satellite engineers uncovered something terrifying. Even after going dark, the aircraft continued sending hourly satellite handshakes, tiny automated pings that proved the plane was still powered and still flying for nearly 7 hours across one of the emptiest places on Earth, the southern Indian Ocean. Those pings created invisible arcs across the globe, and only one path made sense. MH370 had flown deep into the Southern Ocean, far from land, far from help, and far from any witness. Somewhere in that darkness, 239 people were still in the air, with no one on the ground knowing where they were. So, what really happened? The most widely accepted theory is horrifyingly simple. Someone deliberately diverted the aircraft. The transponder was manually turned off. The route changes were highly precise. The aircraft then appears to have followed a long southern track until fuel exhaustion. Investigators never officially proved who was responsible. Some believe it was a hijacking. Others suspect a pilot-controlled disappearance. Another theory suggests depressurization, where everyone on board may have lost consciousness while the aircraft continued on autopilot. A silent ghost flight, flying through the dark for hours. No voices, no communication, just engines, clouds, and empty sky. The 2018 investigation could not determine the cause, but it did not rule out deliberate human intervention. And that uncertainty is what keeps the mystery alive. Eventually, the fuel had to run out. Investigators believe MH370 likely continued south until the engines flamed out one by one. In its final moments, the Boeing 777 may have entered a steep, uncontrolled descent into the Indian Ocean, somewhere in one of the most remote oceans on Earth. Pieces of debris later washed ashore on islands and African coastlines, confirming the aircraft ended in the Indian Ocean. But the main wreckage, the black boxes, the final proof, remains missing. The search for MH370 became the largest and most expensive in aviation history. Nations searched from Asia to Australia. Ships crossed thousands of miles. Deep-sea drones mapped the ocean floor. And in 2026, Ocean Infinity completed another advanced search after scanning more than 140,000 square kilometers of seabed. Still nothing. 12 years later, the world is still searching. Families still wait. The ocean still keeps its silence. MH370 is more than a missing plane. It is one of humanity's greatest unsolved mysteries. A modern aircraft, in the age of satellites, vanished without a trace. And somewhere beneath the Indian Ocean, the truth is still waiting, hidden in darkness, untouched for 12 years. What do you think really happened to MH370?